Hi, Waqaa, it's Nikki with Yupik. This video is for all my Nasqurrun workshops, and this one I'm making for headdress. If you want to start without me, this is your video. So what you will have is you're going to have your piece of canvas, you will have your qaqaliqs, you will also have your 2 strips of gugulunak, of wolf fur. I'm going to grab one more. And you're going to want to make sure when you place the wolf fur that this part is in the center. So the fluffiest part. So let me see if I can find one. All right, this is good. All right, so I've got my 2 strips of wolf. I've got my qaqaliqs. I'm going to grab 1 baluk duck, 1 beaver fur. And then we're going to start decorating. Okay, so first things first, we want to make sure that we have the ends that are nice here on the end. So we're going to fold this one over just a smidge and we're going to sew that down. Okay. I've got a Juki New Tech here, but you can do this on any sewing machine. So we're going to do this on both sides. You're going to you don't have to back stitch because we're going to end up sewing these sides all the way down. Just like that. Both sides. Actually, one side. And then you do what you do to one side, you do to the other. So the part that's folded is my outside piece. So then you'll fold it towards in. Does that make sense? Do same thing on the other side. And just a smidge. Maybe like a 1/4 of an inch, maybe. Okay. Now, you are going to start decorating your way up. And what I mean by that is this is going to be like this. You're going to start decorating on your way up. What you're going to want to do is, hi, big guy. You got a toy. You want to make sure that you leave enough room in here so that you can come in with your beads. You're going to want to make sure that you leave enough room so that you can come in with your beads, and you're going to work your way up. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this up. Make sure you decorate it going this way. Use this iron piece as your guide, and you're going to start decorating that way up. So I'm just going to take one of these qaqaliqs. We're going to let it be a little bit extra over. So we're going to let it hang a little bit over, okay? And we're going to sew down on the bottom. And I'm going to do a rickrack on the bottom. So you can pin if you want to, or not. You could be like me and not pin. Why is my sewing machine? How was school, my son? Okay, so we sew the one side down. Okay, all the way down. Now I'm going to sew rickrack on the bottom, and then I'll decorate another one, and I'll just work my way up. And like I said, I like to leave a little bit of room on the bottom. I think I left a little bit too much room here, but we'll see once the rickrack is on. So we're going to sew this one down. Hi, babe. I think we're done. Yeah. We got to figure out what's left to do on the next part. All right. So we made one rickrack strip. Now we're going to sew on this part. So same thing. Sew the other side of the rickrack. All right. Perfect. Now I'm going to do one more qaqaliq. Remember, I want to make sure I have enough room for beaver, 2 strips of wolf. Beaver in Yukhtun is balukdak. Wolf in Yukhtun is gugulunak. I'm going to do this one. So I'm just going to place it here. I'll do another rickrack here. Remember I said a little bit extra. You don't need to do too much, just a little bit, okay? Then we sew the top side down. Okay. Then I'm gonna do another rickrack in here to just tie that color in again. You don't have to. You can do as much decorations as you want to. But, oh, we lost our thread. How was your day, big guy? You had a good day at school? Almost. Who'd you play with today at school? Coda punched you? Uh-oh. You okay? What happened? Huh? Yeah, I'm videoing. I can pause it though. All right, so then you're gonna just sew the, oops, and I'm kind of going off here, but we're gonna sew down on the bottom side of the rickrack and sew on the top side. That's what happens when I'm distracted. All right, now we're gonna sew the top side. Be nice to Chippy. All right, so qagalaks are on. Yuchtun qagalaks are decorations. Now we're gonna sew down the baluktuk, the beaver. Hey, hey, you guys, come on, you guys, come on, come on. We're gonna sew down the beaver now. We're just gonna sew it down on the sewing machine. So like I said, a little bit over. If you wanted to, you can change it to a sewing machine that has light thread, or and you just pull the hair back as you sew. Sometimes when I cut the beaver, I get little strays here. Oh, that's sun. All right, so like I said, move the hair this way. Move the hair away. Pull it this way, and then you're just gonna sew it down. You want to kind of sew right where the skin is exactly, up to it. And I butt the baluktuk right up to the trim. Okay, just like that. All right, then you're gonna have a little bit extra, you see, so these ones can get trimmed off. That one's okay. All right, now we are going to add the gugalunuk. So when you add the gugalunuk, you kind of are methodical in placing it so that the best part of the fur is in the middle. And as you sew, you're going to move the baluktuk this way, and you're going to pull this down that way. So I'm just going to play with this and see if I like this placement first before I decide to sew it down. Okay, and I like this. So this is how it's going to look. So I'm going to move this one. I'm going to move this baluktuk this way. And then I'm going to sew down the fur this way. Maybe I can get you a better angle this way. So maybe not that one. Maybe, hold on. All right, maybe right there. Okay, we're going to move this fur this way. We're going to move this fur this way. The trick about this is you want to make sure that when you have it sitting here that there's no gaps in between here. What I mean by gaps is means you can't see the canvas. So now we're just going to sew this down. Make sure that this part is in the middle again. Okay, perfect. Now, like I said, awahaluku this one and then pull this hair this way. Sometimes I'll push it back that way just to make sure it's okay, and it looks good. My sewing machine is being finicky. Okay. So, now you're going to match the other one, which I think it kind of got off kilter, but we're going to kind of just adjust this as we need it. We want to leave some space on the top to be able to sew the two together. So once this is done, then what we do is you'll do your beadwork. So get it where you want it, right? And then move this wolf this way, this gugulunuk this way, and then push this gugulunuk down the furs. Okay. Now, okay, now you can trim the edges, the extra furs. I brought you other side. Okay, now you're gonna do the two sides. So you're gonna fold up this side and sew it all the way up both sides. Hopefully it's been recording okay. I didn't realize it adjusted there. And it will sew the fur, depends on what kind of sewing machine you have. So I would just say be very careful when you're sewing this top part to make sure that you don't break a needle and it doesn't sew through it. So both sides, this is what it looks like on the front, and then same thing on this side. When I sew this side, I will start from where the qagaliqs are, the trimmings are, and I'll sew this way. And I don't backstitch because I'm going to end up sewing these all together. And then I come back this way. This part I might backstitch a little, but it ends up getting sewn together. So all right, Doi. So now, almost very similar. Now you're done. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna add your beadwork. So the way that I add my beadwork is I do small beads between my two eyebrows. You can do as big, as much as you want. I take clips I will take sewing clips and I will pin, sorry, the table keeps shaking, from here to here on this one. And then I will bead in the middle. I use size 6 or 8 beads, and you can just do whatever pattern you want to do. And then I end with a size 10 bead. So I go down, I come through this fold, come out, add my beads, put my size 10, and then come back through the bigger beads. I don't end up going through that small bead, so they end up staying. And then you can go as far as you want. You can go all the way down if you want to. So that is how I will do it. So I'll put this here, and you can see I'll mark it at the end of my eyebrow. I bless you. I'll do the other side, and you can add beads on here too. So anyways, just play with it. Once all your beads are on, then you're going to put your elastic in. And I'll show you an elastic video this weekend, because what I do is once the beads are all in, I put this on. I mark with my fingers like this how much I need between here to here, which it's usually about this much. Then I'll cut a little bit extra. And what I'll do is I'll end up sticking one side in here, sewing it, the whole thing here, then I put it on, then I'll grab the elastic and I'll put it here and I'll figure out how much I need to, and then I clip that part where I'm going to put it in and I sew it a little bit, put it on, see how it fits, and then if it's good, then I'll sew the whole thing, and then doika, you're done. But that's how you do it. So Quyana, Chuck Norris, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Quyana.